Thames Valley Police took on a bank. It took on HBOS, and it took on one particular branch that was heading up a lot of the major frauds. And I take no credit for Thames Valley Police taking it on, but I'm delighted that we did. And it was a major fraud. It was approaching £1 billion. We only prosecuted on 245 million, and we put away 6 people. Not senior bankers or middle rank bankers, went down for 48 years. It cost us £7 million, and we didn't get that money back. The Serious Fraud Office and 2 other police forces had turned the cases down. And so if we hadn't taken it on, nobody had been got any compensation at all. I think the compensation was resisted at every stage by Lloyds Bank. They did their best not to pay out, and they're still not paying out to a lot of people. They're only paying out to those people really that were mentioned in court. And of course, we didn't prosecute the whole £1 billion. We'd still be in court today. I think it would have taken so long. And we got the maximum sentences that were realistic in the case. Lloyds instigated an internal review of compensation, which I have to say was a joke. And then Sir Ross Cranston did a review of the review and said it was, criticised it heavily. But even Sir Ross Cranston didn't get to the bottom of who should have been paid out, and a great number of people have not been paid out. But what became apparent is it wasn't just HBOS running this out of Reading. That was comparatively, I believe, small compared to what Lloyds Bank and RBS and others were actually doing. The National Crime Agency itself has said that we were losing 190 billion a year in fraud. And if you actually look at the amount of money that's been put into actually doing something about it, it's 0.03% of that amount. The police have so many other things to deal with. They've been cut very heavily over the past few years. And the police find it very easy to say a fraud is either a civil matter or pass it to action fraud. And action fraud, we know, it was well exposed in the Times, but I think we all knew it anyway, was a call centre in Glasgow. And it just disappears when it goes there. Nothing is ever really done. We have a number of regulatory authorities who should be dealing with it. And what I find is so extraordinary is that people like you and I should be taking this on, when it should be the regulatory authorities. We've got the Financial Conduct Authority, we've got the Serious Fraud Office, we've got the National Crime Agency, we've got the FRC, the Financial Reporting Council, the Bank of England's PRA, the City of London, and then you have all the regulatory bodies within the industries, the SRA and RICS, which are meant to be protecting their customers, not protecting their crooked members, which they seem to do far too often. 17 large files of forged documents and signatures have been lodged with the National Crime Agency. They started by trying to hand it all to the Financial Conduct Authority, who passed it on to the SFO, and is back with the National Crime Agency at the moment. Treasury Select Committee asked them well over a year ago to investigate these files. As far as I'm aware, absolutely nothing has been done about it. I don't think the NCA actually has the facilities to even do it. But the NCA also has a very easy out that it won't tell you if they're investigating something, and I can quite understand that. But it's quite clear that they haven't, because none of the people involved who've had their businesses taken away, their houses taken away or anything have ever been interviewed by them. So they're clearly not doing the job. When there are reports that come out that demonstrate clear crime, and the classic one was the Turnbull report written by Sally Masterton, and that came out, the bank, Lloyds Bank, had it for 3 years and sat upon it. Their executive board sat upon it. The only thing they actually did was sack the person who wrote it and then lie about her. She eventually was compensated because I and others like Lord Hollick stepped in and insisted. And her report, which is well substantiated, and she was fully authorised and asked to write it by the head of audit and risk, nothing has been done about it. And it clearly showed that not only did they hide in their audits, and they have to be signed off by their chief financial officer, they hid a massive fraud they knew about, and the fact that there was a massive hole in the accounts of both HBOS, which allowed Lloyds to go ahead with rights issues of 13 billion. Nothing has been done about any of these things. Nobody has been held to account. In Australia, they've had a royal commission because similar things were happening there. They're on a far smaller scale, I may say. And in America, the banks were hugely fined for this, and they got a grip of it, and people have gone to jail. At the moment, we've done absolutely nothing about it in this country. I have put briefs now with the Home Secretary, and I hope that something will be done about it. But I have to say, there seems to be more interest in our regulatory authorities in covering it up than actually exposing it and sorting it out and stopping it happen again. Thank you.